So, got some posts from the last couple of days that I think would be interesting to analyze. So, let's get right into it. This girl, sassy Southern blonde, she made this post. Haven't talked to this guy from the dating site in a week, and he randomly texts me saying, "Come to Miami." No, sir. If he isn't texting you, he isn't interested. And I'm not going to read through all this, but you can see the concept. Hey, how's your day going? Hey, exclamation mark. Happy Friday. I'm in Miami. I'll get you the plane ticket. So this must have been a week before. He didn't respond or whatever. And then she's like, "I'm good. I haven't talked to you in a week. I'm not going to chase." And he just says a really bunch of incongruent, bad things. Not that it's just an overall human condition kind of situation. And the post here I made is a conservative feminist doesn't get that texting is for logistics only, first and foremost, as most people don't understand that concept of you don't have conversation over text. But that's neither here nor there. Only thing dude actually messed up besides weak, meek texting energy, the exclamation marks, the happy Friday, the lack of urgency initially when they first matched on the dating app or whatever, is he was not following the strike while the iron is hot rule. So he should have made the offer essentially the second she matched. Now there's a caveat to this, and we'll go into this later in the post here, but there's this girl that I matched with on Hinge over a month and a half ago, probably. And just things never timed up. And, we have this frame of like, and I haven't met her yet. And it's a social experiment where we have general plans to hang next week. So I'm going to hit her up Sunday, see how that goes. But the general rule is, should have made the offer essentially the second she matched, because right after a match is when her interest runs hottest because she's feeling the most pain, or at least it's optimal to assume so, because think about the consumer psychology. She's swiping on a dating app because she's experiencing pain. So because if she was happy with her dating life, then she would not be swiping on the dating app. That's the optimal assumption to make. Is it always true? No, but we're playing against the market, the macro market. Individuals have variance, but the market trends in these directions. So buying temperature is real. Letting a week pass tanks your odds in two ways. One, she's probably already entertaining something else, unless you're her one of one. And this does not mean it has to be a man, by the way. It's just more variability. Oh, I'm dealing with family stuff. Oh, got a text this morning after I double texted her saying, basically calling her out for not responding that, oh, I foster dogs, so I'm not going to be in town this weekend. There's all kinds of shit that happens. Two, coming back cold reads like you're the one in agenda mode, you the guy. So we talk a lot about, women being agenda mode, mercenaries, time wasters, stuff like that. And yes, there are a lot of those. But when you come back, it's like incongruent. The frame is incongruent, and it can come back like you're in agenda mode. And he proved it too. Like, I was thinking about you. I'll get you the plane ticket, which that's not game. That's agenda mode, trying to buy the interest he let cool off. And then think about, what did she say right here in this post? He randomly texted me in her own words, just lonely. So this is how she's perceiving it, because it's been a week. So it's dead on arrival, on this new arrival, because he didn't strike while the iron is hot. Now, am I saying that this was ever going to work out to begin with? Absolutely not. But we're talking about following a positive expected value process and taking calculated risks with potential asymmetric rewards. And that's why you do strike while the iron is hot generally. Texting a girl you haven't smashed after a long silence almost always comes off desperate unless you set proper expectations up front. If you know, you know. And this guy asked down here, what are proper expectations? And in short, it's essentially programming her with texting being for logistics only. And I'll give you guys a little game here, whatever you want to call it. Telling her you have bad text game. So on my mating apps, I say my weakness, text game. So now if I have bad texting, I have plausible deniability because I made a damaging admission. I'm these potential positive things. Oh, but on my weaknesses, I have bad text game. So now it's congruent there. Anyways, that's the first post. This one I thought was interesting. What do you think, fellas? 70-30 men to women, or is it 95-5? Who cares? The dating app ratio is not your problem. And this is a good point. Ratio is an issue because 99% of guys, myself included, have unoptimized or outright bad profiles and are too proud to pay money for a booster free sub. I don't get the hate for apps. You and so many other guys are proof that if you set it up right, it's great volume. Optimizing for online is gay. That's what it was designed to do, make you gay. Is it gay to bang 8 new chicks in 2 weeks? That's what I said. Not in the slightest. If I had those numbers, I'd feel like Genghis Khan. And I guess someone responded and didn't. But like, it's a top of funnel lead mechanism. How many more times do we have to say this? Dating apps are a top of funnel lead generation mechanism. And if you're having conversation with these strangers on dating apps, if you're not running a system, and we'll go into this in a second, this girl I'm meeting up in a little bit said, you really know how to lure a girl in. What is this girl looking for? Final boss of agenda mode girls. I'm not going to go into this whole thing where basically she deleted her account on Hinge after I was going through this kind of flow with her. And normally, you go to past matches and it doesn't say, or if it says unmatched, that means she unmatched, but she didn't, because I'm pretty sure if she just deletes her account, it doesn't say unmatched. And then long story short, she messaged me back on Bumble and said she's the final boss of agenda mode girls, the top 1% of agenda mercenaries with time waster undertones. In her profile, just a goofy, fun girl looking for something serious and dating with intention. Quickest way to my heart through flowers. Once kids, Christian, she had conservative in her profile. Looking for a long-term relationship, a life partner, monogamy, dating with intention. And she messaged me last night to my opening move on Bumble, date night out 100% as opposed to date night in. I just have that as it's not optimal necessarily. I just put it just because why not? Bumble, I'm experimenting. It doesn't matter. And so this guy says, so what is she looking for? Your attention? Maybe. But at the end of the day, agenda mercenaries are just looking for a good, obedient cuck to domesticate. So we still try. She's still hot. Still message her back, see what happens. Try and invite her over. It's not going to happen. It's just not. She's not going to come straight over. Now, here's an update too on this sassy blonde girl. So this is an abomination. I'm not reading all of this. I didn't even read all this per se, but the whole I don't want to move fast thing is exhausting. Why is she calling it exhausting? Because that's what women are supposed to say. So these are the two crucial points here. I just don't like rushing into things before two people have even met and seen how they connect in person. Idealistic, weird, slop. Sometimes I pull back when things start moving too fast, not because I'm not interested, but because I want things to be real. So that message from the guy sounds exactly like something a woman would write. I don't know about you, but that does. There's only room for one vagina in the relationship. Again, texting for logistics only. It's not for this emotional slop. Straight lines from match to smash ASAP. And then later on, he says, I haven't been talking to anyone else or spending time on the apps. That's just the wrong move and irrelevant to the sales conversation with an individual woman. It's presupposing and projecting all kinds of value systems onto the woman. Women do not value your loyalty to them the same way that you value theirs. In fact, they subconsciously view it as a red flag if you aren't dating other chicks in the beginning. And then even as you progress, they want your pre-selection, because at the end of the day, they don't necessarily want it, but they expect it. Like them saying here, they expect the guy they want to be in high demand by the market. They're the guy they want to be, in high demand by the market. Bottom line. So this, not good. Forever texting and sounds like you're a woman, emotional stuff, not good. And kind of going back to this point from earlier where Zoomer Dev was saying, most guys have unoptimized, outright bad profiles because they're too proud to pay money for Mr. Free Sub. And he's like, I don't get the hate, for apps. It's like, it doesn't matter if you hate him or not. It's like, my mom hates Facebook. Does that stop people from advertising on Facebook and making money? No, you can hate something if you like it. It's okay. You're entitled to your opinion. So kind of adding on to this, 99% of guys are playing the game the wrong way, not optimizing their profiles, winging it on all their texts with no strategy or system, driving themselves insane, taking it personally, not being detached from the outcome, being so, being teased by women. I was having this conversation with Kyle Mastery last night, actually. It was the concept of, I think I turned pro a couple of years ago when I really detached from taking things personally or being teased by any individual woman, and basically accepting that a lot of things are outside of my control and just being more stoic about it. It's a long game. Time in the market's greater than timing the market, all those things that we talk about. And that's a big part of it, is winging it and being invested too much, not being an operator working on the business with systems and strategy instead of and being a slave in the business is more like winging it. It's a lot easier to be emotionally invested when you're in it. And then the third point is not paying for premium subscriptions, which obviously give you more volume and first mover advantage. If you debate that, then you're just an idiot. So the bar has never been lower. The average man is lost, confused, jaded, defeated, weak, meek, simping, and worn down, any and all of those, which is a great opportunity to capitalize on because there is no competition, only noise. Your profile and razor sharp messaging are the signal. And then kind of going on here, dating is brain exercise. You can go on all day. A lot of guys don't know their product, so they can't sell it. He was responding to this, and it's a great point. Incongruence between the marketing and positioning of the product and the actual product being sold is a sales killer. Got to tell a congruent and believable story. Even here's some circumstances stuff that I was telling you about, the fostering dogs thing. Even look at this. So she didn't respond the other day, so I just, tough question. I didn't take your time. Yesterday, which is Friday, now it's Saturday. She responds a day later. Look, she took her red receipts off. It said red Thursday that says delivered yesterday. Sorry, just now seeing this. I foster dogs, and she lives 200 miles away or 120 miles away, whatever. Not going to work out. These are all very thin bets. But that's why you run a lot of them with volume, going back to paying for subscriptions. And it's a Ferris wheel that you keep running. You just keep inputs, outputs. This is a good one that we're not going to go over now because this is a really long one, but concept of hypnosis and high-level persuasion. Basically, you cannot hypnotize someone who's actually open to it. I mean, you can only hypnotize someone who's actually open to it. You cannot force someone into hypnotic trance against their will, nor can you make them do something that violates their core moral compass, value systems, or desires. I think that was a cool post. And Jay said it was a great write-up. So basically, in summary, your compliance up to the point of meeting you is just about all the screening you can do. You're not saying, hey, are you DTF? Because that inherently is low value and incongruent. So the rest is just up to you. She's yours to lose when she shows up. But yeah, this is the post here, or the video, I should say. If you want to work with me, links in the descriptions. If you want my AI tool that I use for kind of messaging strategy, profile audits, stuff like that. If you want to work closer with me, links to those in the description. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace.